वसल्लल्लाहु अला नबील करीम Muhammadin wa alihi wa ashabi ajma'in. Before Imam Rahmatullahi alayh, he mentioned certain types of birr or certain types of a'mal hasana, that there are so many a'mal hasana, and every amal hasan or good deed has its own secret. So he mentioned a few types of them, and there is certain things which are apparently not looking like deeds even, rather than to be considered good deeds. But as good deeds brings benefits to the doer, so these things also giving some benefits to the person concerned. I didn't say purposely to the doer, because there is no doing there. Got it? So because what is the purpose of a'mal hasana, or what is the utmost secret of a'mal hasana? To get reward, to get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to be in touch with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to get into Jannah. Yes or not? So now, in human life, sometime some things befall a person concerned. He is a good Muslim or whatsoever he is, but certain difficulties he is she is facing, certain hardships he is facing. So Imam Rahmatullahi alayh says that for a Muslim, these difficulties and hardships, that's why I wrote a book, a small book. Naseem put it on the website, Hardships and Benefits. Hardships and its benefits. So if some hardship or difficulty befalls a Muslim, that is also for his good, even though he doesn't think at the type of hardship that is for my good, but with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is for the good of the human. In this regard, there is one hadith of Qudsi. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam says, إِذَا أَحَبَّ اللَّهُ أَن يُقَرِّبَ عَبْدًا إِلَى نَفْسِهِ فَيَقُولُ أُعَالِجُهُ بِالشَّدَائِدِ. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He likes to bring someone close to Himself, but based on ibadat or good deeds, he cannot go that much close to Allah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to make for him that journey very easy and very swift. وَعَالِجُوا بِالشَّدَائِدِ. I caused him difficulties and hardship. Because difficulty and hardship, that is just like a jumping. It's just like what? Like a jumping. You can say that ibadat for you to take you close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's just like a swift car. It's just like a swift car. And this taklif and hardship, they're just like a bullet. Here from that boom, and therefore it hit the target. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَعَالِجُوا بِالشَّدَائِدِ. So Imam Rahmatullahi alayh says, he is bringing it close to our approach and our understanding. So he is giving us an example. Imam Rahmatullahi alayh says that actually, apparently, that is a tazyiq, yes, a straightening on the person concerned, because that difficulty, that is hardship. But this straightening or this hurdle or hindrance in front of him, that bring khair for him. So Imam gave a visible example of that, like flowing water or a manfaz or a hole of water, the water is flowing through. If you will block it, so you will put a hurdle in front of the flowing water, but the water is flowing. So what will happen? That water come up and it will jump on the top of that hurdle, number one, and to its both side, number two, and it will be entering the earth and flowing there inside the earth as well. Got it? So you cannot stop the flow. The flow is, so Imam Rahmatullah says that hurdle is working for khair of that guy, like water, that you put hurdle in front of him. So now the khair is coming to that person from all around. but he will find it there on the day of judgment. Got it? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Hatta shauka yushakuha fi rijli ahadikum." If somebody is getting pricked by a thorn in his foot, he would be rewarded for that by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Got it? ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّهُمْ لَا يُصِيبُهُمْ زَمَأٌ وَلَا نَصَبٌ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ وَلَا مَخْمَصَةٌ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ وَلَا يَتَؤُونَ مَوْطِئًا يَغِيظُ الْكُفَّارِ وَلَا يَنَالُونَ مِنْ عَدُوٍّ نَيْلًا إِلَّا كُتِبَ لَهُمْ بِهِ عَمَلٌ صَالِحٌ. Surah Tawbah. Tawbah. Yes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, for a moment, I have written khair only. That if they are facing any thirst condition, hunger condition, or any difficulty and hardship, and if they are putting their step on a land which causes anger to the enemies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but he is still stepping for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَلَا يَنَالُونَ مِنْ عَدُوٍ نَيْلًا, or they are getting some harm or injury from the side of their enemies, إِلَّا كُتِبَ لَهُمْ بِعَمَلٌ صَالِحٌ. So based on that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I inscribe for them a good deed. So that is the case. So Imam Rahmatullah alayh, he said that, and he said that al-muhafaza al-khair al-nasabi, that at that time that difficulty was needed, because the good and the benefit Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intended or he willed for that person, he was unable to get it through his good deed. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala caused him a difficulty and he showed patience and stability, so that benefit came to him automatically. Got it or not it? And also Imam Rahmatullah alayh says that when a mu'min, look at me, when a mu'min, he is facing difficulties, and that difficulties go to its utmost, even this very vast earth of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala became straightened for him. He was that much in tension. He was that much in tension or distress. So that breaks his hijab tab'a wa rasam. Because as Imam Rahmatullah alayh, mostly he is mentioning that we have two curtains in front of us that is stopping us from going towards Allah. Number one, what filth is in our nature. And number two, what customs we are living therein. So sometime the nature filth, our personal nature filth, it stops us from going towards Allah. And sometime the evil type of customs, they are stopping us from going to Allah. So when somebody is facing such a difficulty, so that curtain is broken. The curtain of nature is broken and the curtain of custom is broken. Got it or not it? And he, by that, he comes out of everything but only from Allah. At that difficult time, he remembers, oh Allah, oh Allah. Oh. Otherwise, that was a guy, he was not mentioning the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now, as far as the case of kafir is concerned, so why he is not getting this benefit? Number one, he does not have the belief. But number two, kafir mostly he is thinking of what he has lost. What he has lost or what he has missed. And he is diving there in the life of this world and worldly attachment. So if difficulty, it touched him, that difficulty is of no benefit for him. But he is becoming more and more filthy than that condition he was there in before that difficulty. So Imam says, وَمِنْهَا تَقْرِبَاتٌ. And from these deeds or from these anwa'ul bir, taqribatun. Taqribat means which are going to happen. Events which are going to happen. Taridu al bashar, which is happening to a human min ghairi ikhtiyarihi, without his ikhtiyar and without his wish and consent. Kal masa'ib, like the hardships or calamities. Wal amraz, like sicknesses. فَتُعَدُّ مِنْ بَابِ الْبِرِّ لِمَعَانٍ. So these are considered for him or counted for him from the types of good deeds لِمَعَانٍ, because of a few ma'nas. Minha, from these ma'nas, one is أَنَّ الرَّحْمَةَ إِذَا تَوَجَّهَتْ إِلَىٰ عَبْدٍ. The kindness of Allah, the rahmah, mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when that is faced towards a abad بصلاح عملي, because he is a good guy, his amal is salih. وَاقْتَضَتِ الْأَسْبَابُ التَّضَيُّقَ عَلَيْهِ, but the asbab are the causes around him, that these asbab were requiring straightening on him. انصرفت إلى تكميل نفسه, so that تزييق that goes to the perfection of his self, that by that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is completing himself or his self. So how? فَكُفِّرَتْ خَطَايَاهُ, with these difficulties his sins are forgiven. وَكُتِبَتْ لَهُ الْحَسَنَاتِ, and with these difficulties good deeds are written in his personal file. كَمَا إِذَا صُدَّ مَجْرَى الْمَاءِ, like a flowing path of water is closed and blocked. نَبَعَ الْمَاءُ مِنْ فَوْقِهِ, so the water comes on over that, jump over that. وَمِنْ تَحْتِهِ, and beneath it, and even from both sides. فَيُنْسَبُ الْإِجْرَاءُ إِلَى ذَلِكَ التَّضِيقِ, so now that ijra or that flow, that overflow, that is actually attributed to that taziq and that straightening, that you put a hurdle there. So here also that benefit is coming because of those difficulties a person is facing. وَالسِّرُّ فِيهِ, and the secret in this is al-muhafaza ala al-khair an-nasabi. Relatively that was better for him from his amal at that time. At that time he was not able to do that much amal which can give that much benefit. So this difficulty brought him those many huge benefits from Allah. وَمِنْهَا, and from these ma'ani, أَنَّ الْمُؤْمِنَ إِذَا اشْتَدَّتْ بِهِ الْمَصَائِبِ, that a moment when the calamities are hardened for him, ضَاقَتْ عَلَيْهِ الْأَرْضُ بِمَا رَحُبَتْ, so the vast earth of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is straightened on him because of his difficulty. فَانْكَسَرَ حِجَابُ الطَّبْعِ وَالرَّسْمِ, so the nature curtain or hurdle that is broken, and the custom curtain that is broken as well. وَانْقَلَعَ قَلْبُ إِلَّا عَنِ اللَّهِ, so his heart is coming out of everything but only connected to Allah because of the difficulties. أَمَّا الْكَافِرُ فَلَا يَزَالُ يَتَذَكَّرُ الْفَائِتَ, and as far as the case of kafir is concerned, he faces the calamities as well, but of no benefit, because yatazakkarul faita, he is also recalling his mind for the things he missed. وَيَغُوصُ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا, oh, I didn't do that, I should have done like this, and I would have I would have earned that much money in that business of mine. Even in difficult time he is thinking like this. وَيَغُوصُ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا, and he is diving there in the life of this dunya. حَتَّى يَصِيرَ أَخْبَثَ مِنْهُ قَبْلَ أَنْ يُصِيبَهُ مَا أَصَابَ, and he is becoming more filthier than that condition of him which he was there in before this difficulty and calamity befell him. وَصَلَّى اللَّهُ تَعَالَى عَلَى خَيْرِ خَلْقِهِ مُحَمَّدٍ وَآلِهِ وَأَصْحَابِهِ أَجْمَعِينَ. So for tonight that is enough. Maulvi Yusuf